we need to talk about the killing of a sacred deer. So I recently bought a VPN and I've been going a bit ham on the American Netflix, and I came across this film. It was released in 2017, but after watching it, I just knew I had to talk about it because there's so many questions. I just need to talk about it, okay? If you love all things film and funny skits, don't forget to like, subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when I upload. It's directed by Yorgos Lanthimos and it's a dark thriller drama about a man who plays God for a living who meets a boy who decides to play the devil. Dr. Stephen Murphy has a picture-perfect life and family, so it comes as a shock when it turns out he was actually intoxicated during an operation, which led to the death of Martin's father. Stephen is consumed with guilt, so he feels the need to buy Martin loads of presents and invites him into his family, only to find out that Martin has dark and menacing intentions. To be honest, it took me a while to actually digest this film. It's a really uncomfortable watch. In the beginning, I was a bit like, okay, this is dodgy. Why is Stephen always around this random kid Martin who doesn't seem to be all there? Not as in dumb, but as in creepy. It's just unnerving to always watch Martin around Stephen so much that it literally turns into stalking. I feel like the length of this film is perfect. It's really truly understand what's going on until the end. So it's like you're stuck in a nightmare and you just can't stop watching. All the acting performances are incredible and super believable. It's really weird though, because it's almost like they're reading a script but they're not reading a script. It's because when they speak it's so dull and dead tone, it's just kind of creepy. I was watching an interview with Colin Farrell who plays Stephen, and he said that they weren't told to talk in a monotonous tone. It just sort of happened because the script was so strong. The way they speak definitely plays a massive part in the film being so uncomfortable yet so addictive. The camera work is really nice and we see a lot of slow pans, which works with the kids crawling all around the house. The camera shots have a very voyeuristic feel, so it feels like you're peeking on the characters and that they're always being watched. The music score is incredible and it really sets the scene, as it's really creepy and intense when it needs to be. The final scene is so powerful as there is a crescendo of religious music which fits in perfectly, as the whole film is based around fate and cosmic punishment. Fun fact, the title's actually based on a Greek myth. The music in the final scene is almost victorious, as everything is right and balanced now, even though we've just seen such a heinous crime happen. I think that's a great juxtaposition. I feel like Stephen leaving the cafe at the end and not looking back at Martin shows that he's now guilt-free and he doesn't feel the need to check up and look after Martin. That was literally the only and the most satisfying thing about the whole film. Stephen Murphy, played by Colin Farrell. It's his fault that all this is happening, as when I found out that he accidentally killed Martin's father during an operation, I was a bit like, accidents can happen. Then his colleague mentioned that he was drinking before the operation, and when he was speaking to Anna, Stephen's wife, he said, you know how it used to be, suggesting that he used to have a drinking problem. I might be reaching, but I feel like that makes sense, as that's why Stephen feels the need to look after Martin. We need to discuss when Stephen told that really creepy story to his son Bob. I get what Stephen's intentions were, as he wanted to gain Bob's trust, but I just don't think this was the right way to go about it, and it was so creepy. Stephen told his son Bob a story that when he was his age, he started wanking, and when he ejaculated, it wasn't that much, so he was really creeped out. So one day when all his brothers were out and his dad was drunk, he went into his dad's room and wanked him off and then ran away. First of all, what? Why would you do that? And why on earth would you tell your son that? Poor Bob. But I guess Stephen just wanted to check that Martin wasn't forcing Bob to lie, which I get because that actually did go through my mind. I was like, is Bob putting this on? Is Martin making him do this? I can't even begin to explain how stressful that was when Stephen put that beanie over his head and started playing Russian roulette with his family holding a shotgun. Martin told Stephen that he had to shoot one of his family members to bring cosmic balance to the universe. What? So when things started to get really bad, Stephen tied up all his family and put pillowcases on their head, then spun around holding the shotgun, just seeing who he was gonna kill. I can't even imagine how stressful that must have been for his family members, just waiting to know if you're gonna die. Also, I still can't get over that the son's called Bob. That's such a random name. Like, I don't know any kids in the last 10 years that have been called Bob. Maybe there are, don't come at me. I'm sorry if you're called Bob. Anna Murphy, played by Nicole Kidman. She gave such an incredible performance as the cold yet loving wife and mother. But why does Anna lie upside down when she's about to have sex? Anna actually said to Stephen, do you want general anaesthetic? And then she pretended to be knocked out when he had sex with her. Like, that's so weird. Does he like to pretend she's knocked out or something because he's a surgeon? Then their daughter Kim tries to have sex with Martin and does the same thing. Like, is Anna teaching her daughter this, or did her daughter see her doing it and just thought that's what's meant to happen? This is so weird. I have so many questions. Also, we need to discuss when Anna was having that conversation with Stephen and she was like, the most logical thing to do is kill one of our kids and have another one while we still can. And if we can't get IVF, like, what? They're your kids. Mate, whenever Anna woke up near the end of the film, I was so stressed because I was just like, can she walk? Is it happening to her? This is too stressful. Not to mention her wanking off her husband's work colleague to find out what happened to Martin's father during the operation. This film, I don't know. Martin, played by Barry Keoghan. Incredible performance. I just need to say, who is this guy and how is he doing any of this? Like, I just need to know. Also, look-wise, he reminds me of a young Joel Edgerton. It's just his eyes, just see. If you see it, comment down below and let me know. Martin creeped me out from the beginning because I was a bit like, why is he hanging around Stephen so much? He's a grown man, and why is he buying him gifts? Their relationship is so uncomfortable. Martin becomes more and more sinister as he keeps reminding Stephen about his father's death. We then see Martin start to get really close to Stephen's kid, and he's always inviting him round to hang out with his mom. I still don't know how Martin did any of this, and it really frustrates me. First of all, I was a bit like, did he drug them? Then I was like, no, it would have come out in the hospital tests. Then I noticed that Martin repeats himself all the time. So I was a bit like, is it some sort of hypnosis? I don't know. I just really wish the film told us how he did it. Like, just tell me. Bob Murphy, played by Sonny Sorgi. I really feel sorry for Bob. He's so unlucky. He's the first one to get paralysed, he can't eat, his eyes start to bleed, then he gets shot by his own father in a game of Russian roulette. Not to mention, his father told him some weird and creepy story about ejaculation. Then when Martin came to the hospital, Bob looks so terrified. Bob just has a really hard time because Stephen just can't understand what's going on and he thinks he's putting it on, so he really does get the brunt of all of this. Kim Murphy, played by Rafi Cassidy. First of all, why is Kim okay with her brother dying? Like, she literally says to him, when you die, you're gonna have your MP3 player. Like, who says that? You're his sister. At one point, when they were getting looked after at home, I literally thought she was gonna kill him. Then she tries to escape and her parents catch her and she begs her dad to kill her, and it sounds like some kind of really creepy prayer. Also, I wanna know why she was crying on the back of Martin's bike. Was it because he told her what he was gonna do? Is that why she was sad? I kind of get the impression that she knew what was going to happen, and that's why she kept going to her mom, are you starting to feel ill? Do you feel it? You'll be paralysed soon. It's so creepy. Like, who even says that to the mom? Not to mention how she just magically got up when Martin called her so she could go wave to him at the window. And then she kept saying to him, make me better, so she clearly knew what was going on. Rafi Cassidy gives such a great performance, and I definitely get some really creepy religious vibes, how she's always singing to Martin. It's just really creepy to watch. Martin's mother, who's actually never given a name in this film, who's played by Alicia Silverstone. I didn't even realise it was her until I looked at the cast and I was a bit like, oh my god, Clueless. Alicia is so great in this, as I didn't even realise it was her. I feel like she tries to make Stephen like the substitute father for her and Martin, which is really weird. And then she makes those creepy ass comments about his hands being clean and white, and then she starts like sucking them. I was literally like, what is going on? When that happened, it confirmed that the Murphys are fucked, as Martin is most likely crazy if that's what his mum's doing. Let me know what you think down below, as I love to hear all your theories. Don't forget to like, subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when I upload.